Things aren't that bad, declares the pro-Kremlin Komsomolskaya Pravda, and it lists 11 reasons why things aren't as bad as they seem in Russia today. So, for example, reason number one, we don't have the death penalty. The writer says that this fact is a poignant contrast to the vulgar claims that we live in a new form of totalitarianism under a bloody dictatorship. So straight away, the point of this article is clear. It's to knock down critics of the Kremlin, critics of Vladimir Putin. The second reason why things aren't as bad as they seem, he writes, is that there are fewer people in prison these days. There are fewer abortions than when Vladimir Putin came to power in the year 2000. Number four, I find very strange. We have a homogenous country, he writes. If you exclude the ethnic enclaves of Russia, then Russia is almost a mono-national state. We have more Russians in Russia, he writes, than Latvians in Latvia or Jews in Israel. And that's being presented as a good thing for the country. He also writes that most people more or less live on the same level, and so there is no need for a civil war and no one to organise one. Number five, we have a country of old people, and again this is being presented as a positive. There's nothing worse or more dangerous for society, he writes, than crowds of aggressive young men languishing between unemployment, desertion from the army, or the desire to get up to no good. He writes that the old Russia died from a demographic explosion, but the new Russia of pensioners will avoid that. Number six, Putin's not a tyrant. Number seven, Russians no longer have to do hard forced labour, and so it goes on until number 11, we now have a choice. He writes that for the first time, we can do whatever we want to. If we want to go and live in the forest, we can, or become monks, or emigrate, or praise Putin, or criticise Putin. If we want to earn millions, or live on the pension of our parents, watch the TV, or chuck the TV away, we can do. And he concludes by saying, I'm not saying that everything is good, but it's not all bad. And I think that idea that, not everything's great in Russia, but it's not that bad, or it could be worse. I think the authorities are going to push that idea hard as we approach next year's presidential election.